Olive found herself outside a shiny black door with the number 10 on it. There were lots of people shouting and taking photos.
Prime Minister! Prime Minister!
What's a Prime Minister?
Olive asked the policeman.
Well, our Prime Minister runs this country, the United Kingdom.
He replied.
They're in charge of all sorts of important stuff, like building houses and roads, or whether we have to learn history in school.
Oh, sounds like an important job. And who are all these people?
Journalists, they report everything the Prime Minister says and does and puts it in the news.
Yes, we will build more roads. No, we won't be going into space next year. Ah, you must be my new advisor. Come inside.
Olive was suddenly bustled inside, away from the noisy journalist.
Hello, I'm Olive.
Said Olive.
I'm Mr. Political.
Said the Prime Minister.
Well, Mr. Political, I'm not actually a new advisor, but maybe I can help out.
I am very tired, Olive. I wish I could just take some time off and have an ice cream.
Well, I could look after everything for a few minutes.
Could you? Well, I suppose what harm could a few minutes do, eh? Here you go. You can be Prime Minister until I get back. I think I've got some chocolate chip ice cream in the freezer. Don't do anything I wouldn't.
Her Majesty the Queen's here. She wants to have a chat about running the country.
Of course. Send her in.
Hello, where's the Prime Minister?
Oh, well, that's me, Your Majesty. Just for a couple of minutes while Mr. Political has an ice cream.
I see. So what are we planning to do this year?
I'm going to give everyone in the country a bicycle for their birthday.
The Queen clicked her fingers and a butler came running over.
Done. What else?
I think there should be less stuff that people don't like
Peas. Oh, I really don't like peas, but one always has them for tea.
no more peas then.
The Queen summoned the butler again, this time to go and get rid of all the peas in the country.
And it would be nice if it was sunny all the time.
I know a scientist who could help with that. Hello? It's the Queen. Could you pop over?
Olive and the Queen went outside to find Dr. Cleverbrain had arrived with a giant remote control.
There we go, Your Majesty. Nice and sunshiny.
I didn't know it would be that easy.
Suddenly, the Prime Minister burst out through the door, waving a piece of paper.
This report has just arrived. The whole country has stopped work. Everyone is sunbathing or cycling or just cross about not having any peas.
Oh, dear.
How did everything go wrong in the time it takes for me to have an ice cream? Olive, you've got to fix this.
Chocolate chip ice cream? The Queen? I think I may have an idea.
Olive whispered something to the Queen, who whispered to a butler, who rushed off.
I have an announcement. There's going to be free chocolate chip ice cream in every office.
And I rather like chocolate chip ice cream. Toodaloo.
See? Everyone's gone straight back to work.
Nice work, Olive. I'd best get back to the office too.
Of course you should, Prime Minister. I expect you have lots of work to do and lots of ice cream to eat.
They both laughed. And as they did, Olive realised it was time to go.
Typical Olive, daydreaming again.
Said her mum.
Heck, actually, I've been very busy being Prime Minister.
Your head's been in the sand too long, dear.
Said Olive's dad. Her little brother laughed. But Olive wasn't listening. She was already dreaming of her next big adventure. Olive was sitting on a bench in a quiet city park. She was wearing a mac and sunglasses. Shivered Olive. A squirrel wearing identical clothes to Olive and carrying a small briefcase walked past. He looked around suspiciously, then hopped onto the bench.
The park is pleasant in the autumn.
I suppose it is. My name's Olive. What's yours?
Hello, Agent Olive. I am Red Squirrel. You will find our mission objectives in the case.
Olive curiously opened the briefcase. Inside was a piece of paper with some instructions.
Approach picnic, obtain nuts, escape without being seen.
Your mission, should you choose to accept it.
Oh, well, why not?
Olive followed Red Squirrel to some large bushes in the middle of the park.
Over there, Agent Olive.
Yes, I see the nuts. Maybe I could distract them while you run up behind and take the nuts.
Okay, but Agent Olive, you must not blow your cover.
Olive noticed a dog bounding around in the distance.
Ha! could disguise myself as a dog. Using these leaves and, this conker. How do I look?
Excellent.
Olive came bounding out in front of the family. The girl and her mum watched Olive curiously while Red Squirrel scampered up behind. But before he could take the nuts, a real dog came charging out of nowhere and chased Olive and Red Squirrel back into the bushes.
Pecking! Watch out!
Okay. We need a plan B.
Olive looked around and spotted an old kite stuck in a hedge.
I know. It's a windy day today. If I tie you to that kite, then the wind will lift you up above the picnic and you can swoop down and snatch the nuts.
A brilliant plan.
Olive carefully tied Red Squirrel to the kite and flew him high above the picnic. But just as he was about to dive, a strong gust of wind came and blew him up into a tree. Olive climbed up to untangle him.
Don't worry. I'll have you free in no time.
Then Olive noticed something. The picnic was directly below them, and so were the nuts.
A kite string? A tree? I think I may have an idea.
Olive made a little harness from the string and tied it round Red Squirrel.
Okay, just need to lower you down.
This plan cannot fail.
She started lowering Red Squirrel down towards the picnic. When he was low enough, Red Squirrel reached out and grabbed the nuts. Olive began slowly pulling him back up, but then the little girl spotted him.
Squirrel! Squirrel!
Code Red, Olive, abort!
Olive jumped and accidentally let go of the string. Red Squirrel came crashing down, dropping the bag of nuts.
Olive, run! Save yourself!
Then the little girl picked up some nuts and offered them to Red Squirrel.
There you go. We brought these nuts to the park today to feed the squirrels. They're meant for you.
Red Squirrel gratefully took the nuts and Olive pulled him back up.
Thank you, Agent Olive. Now I can feed my family for the winter months. Our mission is accomplished. Would you like one?
Delicious. You'd have to be nuts not to like these.
They both laughed. And as they did, Olive realised it was time to go.
Typical Olive, daydreaming again.
Said her mum.
Heck, actually, I helped a squirrel carry out a secret mission.
Your head's been in the sand too long, dear.
Said Olive's dad. Her little brother laughed. But Olive wasn't listening. She was already dreaming of her next big adventure. Olive was standing in a park surrounded by small, leafy bushes.
Hello there.
Said a sad voice. Olive turned and saw a gorilla.
Oh, hello, I'm Olive.
She replied.
I'm Keith. Would you be my friend, please? No one likes me round here.
Yes, of course I will, Keith. You seem very nice to me.
Olive took a step forwards and accidentally trod on something.
Oh, what was that?
She'd stepped on a tiny yellow car. It was squashed flat.
Oops.
I'm always doing that.
Olive spied a tiny little man running up to the car.
Hey, what do you think you're doing? You just stepped on my cab, lady.
I'm very sorry. I didn't see it down there.
It was then Olive noticed that the leafy bushes were actually tiny trees in a park.
Tiny trees, cars, and people. Wait a second, I'm a giant ostrich.
And I'm a giant gorilla.
There were tall skyscrapers surrounding the park. Olive was nearly as tall as some of them herself. Then Olive heard shouting. She looked down and saw a crowd of tiny little people angrily shouting up at Olive and Keith and waving their fists. They started throwing things at Olive's legs.
Ouch! Ow! Careful!
They don't like us because we keep stepping on things.
Maybe we should go somewhere else, Keith.
Keith and Olive walked out of the park and down a wide avenue.
Cake, it's really hard not to step on things. Sorry. Oh dear. Sorry.
I know, it's a nightmare. Sorry.
Tiny people were running around and yelling at Olive and Keith. Sirens were going off. It was chaos.
I just want to go somewhere quiet where I don't step on anything or bother anyone.
Olive spied an especially tall skyscraper with a pointy top.
A super tall skyscraper. Lots of annoyed tiny people. I think I may have an idea. Keith, why don't we get out of everyone's way by climbing up that skyscraper?
Oh, that's the Empire State Building. Great idea.
So Olive and Keith climbed up the Empire State Building. Since they were both giants, it didn't take very long to reach the top. But there were still people shouting at them from nearby windows.
Oh, I wish they knew I was friendly.
Olive saw a helicopter swoop in and circle round them. But something was wrong with the helicopter. The rotor blade stopped turning and it started to fall.
Quick, Keith, catch it!
Keith held out his hand and caught the helicopter.
Got it.
A woman jumped out and stood on Keith's hand, followed by a man with a tiny TV camera.
Whoa, that was close. Katie Waters, NYC News, reporting live. And we've just been saved by the giant gorilla.
All the people looking out of the office windows cheered.
Thanks for saving us. What are your names?
I'm Keith Kong.
I'm Olive. Pleased to meet you.
Can I just say I love New York? Sorry for squashing things before.
Well, you two are certainly a couple of huge New York City heroes.
As a thank you, Keith was given his own special area in the park, as long as he promised to, try and stop squashing things.
Thanks for your help, Olive. Would you like to stay for a bit and I'll show you some more of New York City?
Maybe next time. But today I certainly had a huge amount of fun with you, Keith.
They both laughed, and as they did, Olive realised it was time to go.
Typical Olive, daydreaming again.
Said her mum.
Bukkak? Actually, I had a big adventure in New York City.
Your head's been in the sand too long, dear.
Said Olive's dad. Her little brother laughed. But Olive wasn't listening. She was already dreaming of her next big adventure. Olive was wearing a knight's helmet and was sitting on a grey horse, which was strolling along a winding path.
Hello, I'm Olive.
I'm Melvin.
Said the horse in a mournful voice. Ahead, Olive could see a huge castle with battlements and a tall tower.
Bukkak, that's an impressive castle.
Is it? When you've seen one castle, you've seen them all.
Suddenly, Olive heard a voice.
Help! Help!
It was coming from the top of the tower.
I think someone needs rescuing. Giddy up!
Melvin ambled over the drawbridge with Olive.
Help! Help!
Come on, Melvin. We have to climb to the top.
Towers have stairs and horses don't do stairs.
Melvin sat down, took out a horse hoof file and began to file his hooves.
Oh, I guess I'm on my own then.
Olive climbed a long spiral staircase up hundreds of steps until finally she reached a wooden door at the top. Olive tried the door, but it was locked.
Hello? I'm here to rescue you.
The key is under the mat.
Olive looked under the mat and found a big metal key.
Oh,
She unlocked the door and went inside. Sitting in the room was a little prince who had beautiful long golden plaits.
Bukkak, that's the longest hair I've ever seen. I'm Olive.
I'm Prince Raphael. It's long because I've been locked up for ages by the evil Princess Pat and she won't let me cut it. You have to get me out before she returns.
Hold it right there, Knight.
Growled a voice.
I'm Princess Pat, and you ain't going nowhere with my lovely long-haired prince.
Well, actually, I'm here to rescue him.
Yeah, right, that's what you think.
Princess Pat marched out and locked the door behind her.
What are we going to do now?
Olive looked out of the window. Far below, she saw Melvin still filing his hooves.
A prince with long blonde hair. A hoof file. I think I may have an idea. Oh, Melvin! Can you throw me up that hoof file, please?
What? Oh, suppose so.
Melvin threw up the hoof file. Olive caught it.
Now, I'm going to use this file to cut off your long hair.
No, if the princess finds out, she'll be really angry.
It's okay, because we're going to escape.
Although the prince didn't like it, he let Olive cut off his hair. She tied one end to the door and threw the other end out of the window.
Right, we can use your hair to climb down and get away, but we must be really careful.
Olive carefully climbed down from the window. The prince followed, and soon they were both safely on the ground.
Oh, you two are really heavy.
Oi, where do you think you're going?
Olive turned to see Princess Pat standing by the tower. Her face was bright red with anger.
Let's get out of here.
Melvin galloped off. They rode away from the castle, leaving the princess shaking her hairy fist.
Right, that's far enough.
Yes, I think we're safe now.
Thanks for rescuing me, Olive, although I do miss my lovely long hair.
Actually, you look rather handsome with your new short haircut.
Thanks very much.
The prince gave Olive a kiss on her beak.
But Cake, I've never been kissed by a handsome prince before.
They both laughed, and as they did, Olive realised it was time to go.
Typical Olive, daydreaming again.
Said her mum.
But Cake, actually, I rescued a handsome prince from a castle.
Your head's been in the sand too long, dear.
Said Olive's dad. Her little brother laughed. But Olive wasn't listening. She was already dreaming of her next big adventure.